So in today's video, I will talk about accepting yourself as unique and special. And I will cover 3 key factors in doing that. First, I will talk about what major thing you need to recognize and let go of to be your true, authentic you. And secondly, what to do once you recognize it. Thirdly, I will address that thing that has been fed from childhood and keeps growing as an adult. Want to know more? You definitely want to stay to the end to hear all about these 3 factors I will cover in this video. So stay tuned. I will be right back. So let's talk about what major thing you need to recognize and let go of to be your true, authentic you. Sometimes we don't even recognize it right away because it can be subtle. And what is it? I'm literally talking about comparing yourself with others. And as soon as I recognize it, I just have to nip it in the bud. So I have to tell myself all the time, and I want to encourage you to stop comparing yourself to others. Sometimes I notice that we put ourselves through this undue stress by comparing ourselves with others. And the interesting thing is, it happens so easily that we don't even realize that we're doing it. So now, what do you do once you recognize yourself comparing yourself with others? If you find yourself doing that, I want to take the time today to say to you that you should know this. You are different from everyone else. And it is time to celebrate that. Don't do it for me, but do it for you. You offer a unique perspective in this life. Did you know that? If you didn't, know it now. You know what? We should all be thanking you. If you're constantly comparing yourself, it means you aren't happy with who you are. But why is that? That's a question for us to answer individually. I do have good news. You can train your mind. And if you want to start training your mind right now, you can literally just say after me, I am different from everyone else. Say it again. I am different from everyone else, and I offer a unique perspective in this life. How did that feel? Well, keep telling yourself that and just watch and see the difference it makes. It just takes small steps most times. We are brought up in such a way that we find ourselves conforming to a lot of things that we don't even believe in, and it doesn't even line up with our core values. And as I said that, the word conform just jumped out at me. And I suddenly thought about this verse that I love so much from Romans 12 verse 2 that says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that he may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. I love to quote that verse. These days, if you don't fit within the norms that have been created by different persons, you're looked upon disapprovingly. Well, guess what? Most people aren't normal in the truest sense of the word. Everyone has quirks and idiosyncrasies. It's really these differences that allow us to find solutions to problems, and it also keeps us from getting bored, right? Imagine if everyone were truly the same. There would be nothing new to discover about one another, and that's what makes life so interesting. We're all unique and different. If you're new to this channel, my name is Genese Smith, and I'm a dream builder and transformational life coach. And I am all about sharing what I have learned from my own life experiences, as well as share all that I'm learning now in mindset change and how we can be empowered in different areas of our life even though sometimes we feel down and out. I love encouraging individuals to step out in confidence, especially after a very challenging time in life. Some persons may say there are reasons to conform, such as you need to follow the rules and the laws of your country and your community. I get that. But that's not what I'm talking about right now. What I'm talking about conforming to other rules that others have made, right? So I believe that the examples that I just gave you would fall under obedience. So when I think of conformity, I think of following a certain group of people and literally adapting to their beliefs and lifestyle. And then obedience would be our behavior in response to a direct order or authority, which is where the rules and the laws of our country and our community comes in, right? But I'd like to hear your comments and your thoughts. So put in the comments below and let me know, what are your thoughts on the difference between conformity and obedience? Okay, I think I just got a little sidetracked there. So back to what I was saying, that sometimes we find ourselves conforming to norms that we don't believe in, but it's important to really know what conformity means. You want to treat others with respect so that they, hopefully, will return that respect. But if you try to act in ways in which others believe that you should, you aren't going to live your true life to the fullest. And that's why you should get out of the habit of comparing yourself to others. Because when you do this, you're likely setting these unrealistic expectations, and that will lead you to be so disappointed. And when you compare yourself to others, that can also lead to some resentment for those people, right? Because if you look at it, they have their reasons for being the way they are. And it has nothing to do with you. I'm sure that there are qualities that you admire in others. And honestly, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with trying to adopt some of these admirable qualities for yourself. Just remember, it shouldn't get to the point where you're trying to redefine who you are to be like those people you admire, because you aren't them and you never will be. How I see it, you have but a short time on this planet. And if you spend most of that time trying to be like someone else, you are in for a rough ride. So if you stick to who you are and just find others who are willing to accept you for that, you're going to be more satisfied for most of the time in your life. Others will be happier with the real you as well, right? You won't be a pretender, because people can see right through that kind of behavior. Just think about others who are not true to themselves. How long does it take you to see through that disguise? Before I get to my next point, have you subscribed to this channel as yet? Make sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you can be the first to be notified of our new upload. So remember, at the beginning, I told you that I would address that thing that has been fed from childhood and keeps growing as an adult. I'm talking about that inner critic. So I want to encourage you to fight your inner critic. You know, that voice inside your head that tells you when you do something wrong? And sometimes it can be so harsh for your well-being. I'm remembering now how often I have to tell some persons close to me, don't be so hard on yourself. And guess what? I can also remember persons telling me the exact thing. And I want to think we all do it at times. Do you do that too? But when you find yourself being too hard on yourself, it's time to fight that inner critic. You need to take it down a notch or two. You don't want to silence that critic completely, but you do want some balance. After all, you shouldn't be wrong 100% of time, right? I think this inner critic shows a lot of negativity. And we can feed some of these negativity from watching the news or some conversations we have with others. And this constant barrage of negativity, I would say, it has helped to build into the cynic that it currently is. And I would say that your inner critic also has a lot of influencers from childhood days that's on its side. After all, you spent your entire childhood listening to so much information, filtered and unfiltered. And that inner critic just scooped all that information. And then it was reinforced for years. It's time to just temper that inner critic. It has gone on for far too long unchecked. It won't be easy because it has control of your life for a long time, but you can take some steps just to curb that impact that it has, right? So you need to start using some positive affirmation. Do this often and consistently, preferably on a daily basis. But you can get away with weekly if that's all the time you have. You know, little is better than nothing at all. But be prepared for resistance from your inner critic, because your inner critic may not have been taught back to for years. It usually has the run of things. So be aware of that. You need to start paying attention to the messages that inner critic is giving you. It may be worth it, probably just to jot down on a piece of paper. Evaluate those messages frequently and then decide if it is giving you the right advice. And you will find that often it isn't. And when you make this discovery, it's time for you to make some changes. And if you're having a hard time making that first move, take the time to go ahead and book a no obligation call. So just check in the description below on how to book a call with me. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you and just helping you celebrate you. So start celebrating you today for who you are and be you. Be kind to yourself and be your best cheerleader. Try it today. Let me know what steps you took and how did it work for you. Thank you for joining.